Welcome to Flat Out Elected. My name is Rand Campbell. Ay, 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 ay. Right? Come on. You know, we are seeing in this world God's will. We're seeing God's will being poured out into this world. And you know, Jesus Christ said when you pray, this is how you pray. And he said, Our Father who art in heaven, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And that prayer is answered. That is an answered prayer for what we see happening in this world. God's will is absolutely being done here in this world, in these days, in this time. And it takes Christ courage. Let me say that again. It takes Christ courage to be open to receive God's will in these days. You see, you can receive the information with an open mind. You can be lack of arrogance, cognitive dissonance. You can lack in refusing or rejecting the truth of this world. You can lack in an openness to receive the truth in this world. But you're not going to prevent God's will. You rejecting the truth doesn't reject or doesn't bend, stop, or prevent God's will from being done. As a matter of fact, your rejection is a part of the will of God. God knows that there will be those that will not drink from the well of truth. And the well of truth, by the way, isn't the water fountain at your local high school or the water fountain in your place of business. We're talking about a fire hose. This truth isn't dripping. It isn't flowing in a slow, consistent manner. It is coming out like a fire hose for those willing to receive it. And it can be overwhelming. It can push you back. The pressure, the force of this truth coming into this world is the PSI of this truth is powerful. It knocks a lot of people over. A lot of people just can't handle the truth. Just like the movie. Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth. And that's exactly right. Most people can't handle this truth. People can sip from the cup of truth as long as it doesn't overwhelm them, as long as the pressure isn't so much so that it knocks them over. Because you see, people don't want to get knocked off their feet because they believe that they're standing firm in a world that they think they've got a good beat on. They think they've got some control. They think they've got some understanding. They think they've got some knowledge. They think they've got the education. And that they can manipulate their way through this world and come out the other end okay. Come out the other end with what they believe to be a successful life. But you can be successful in a deception. You can be successful. You can be successful in all the wrongs in the world. You can apply lies, watch this now, you can apply lies in your life and relie, repeat lies, relie, and depend on the lies. And as a result of all of that, become very successful within a system designed by lies. So being accomplished in this world under the veil and under the design of deception makes you successful in that of which is deceiving. Therefore, you have been deceived to believe that you have achieved. Let me say that again. That kind of sounded good. You have been deceived to believe you have achieved. You've achieved nothing. You've achieved the right to be a slave in a system that has you convinced you're not a slave. That's what you've achieved. You've received all of the lies, all of the indoctrination, all of the influence, all of the deception to be successful in something that is absolutely unimaginable to those that aren't willing to wake up. You see, the God of this world cares not that you know he exists. It means nothing to him. The system, by its design, only cares that you stay deceived long enough to be a victim to it and to be enslaved to it, and to think that the rewards of your enslaved living environment keeps you blind to the truth. The system is designed to do that. All of their orchestrated maths, all of their orchestrated histories, all of their orchestrated and designed paths that lead you to believe that you're important, or that lead you to believe that your life is significant within this system, are all pre-designed that you would think that way. That's what it means by John 8:32, is that the truth sets you free. The truth sets you free. Free indeed. Free from what? Well, free from your soul being conditioned and overwhelmed in deception to the point where you can't even seek a way out. You're blind. You love this world. You love what it gives you. You love the fact that you participate in it. You love the fact that you're able to receive the things and the ways of this world, the conditioning and the influence, so much so that you can't wait till your children get to an age that you can hand down all of this deception. You're enslaving your own children. You're creating more slaves for a system that you don't even understand. You've never questioned it. You know, when my son was 10 years old, we were moving into a new neighborhood. And so we looked to see how close the school was. We looked to see what kind of a school. Was it a good school? We looked to see how close the doctor's office was. We looked to see how close the grocery stores. I mean, we took some time to investigate the neighborhood because we wanted to know where we were going to live. I wanted to make sure that my son was in a good neighborhood. I wanted to make sure that he was going to be raised in a neighborhood conducive to his well-being. So we researched the neighborhood before we moved in, which is typical of most people. When you move into a neighborhood, you don't just go see an apartment or see a house and just rent for the sake or buy for the sake of buying. If you're smart, you do a little bit of research. How close to the school, the grocery store, the dentist, the bank, the post office. You're going to do some research so that you're familiar and have an understanding of your environment. But when it comes to this world, when it comes to this system, when it comes to this creation, people just take the word of those with positions of power and authority, because we have also been conditioned in that we don't question authority. We don't question power. If somebody has a name tag that suggests they're an expert or a professional, or they're a leader, or they're an educator, or they're a scientist, or a politician, or a celebrity, you just take their word for it. You don't question them because they've been given authority over you by name tag. You never question. You've been living on this earth how long now? Have you honestly done some research? Have you honestly done some questioning? Have you questioned the authorities? Have you questioned those that are leading you through this life, through this design, through this operation of deception? Are you questioning any of it? Or are you just taking their word for it? Are you doing any research at all? Are you trying to align your worldview with the events of this world? Are you looking? Are you listening to the emotion of this world? Are you trying to figure it out? Are you trying to have an understanding? Are you trying to open your mind? Are you trying to open your heart? Are you trying to actually know where you are, who you are, and who these people are that are running this world, that are dictating and influencing not only you, but generations back and generations forward? They have you indoctrinating your children with deception and lies? Are you aware of any of this, or are you completely shut off to it? Have you decided you don't care as long as you get your vacations and your BMW in the driveway, your house and your cottage, your wife, your children? Are they enough to live a lie? You know, I watched a story of a man. He was a doctor and he ended up getting very sick. And he was very well respected, and he was on the operating table and he died for a few minutes. Now, you can take this as truth, you can believe the story or not. I choose to believe it because of the impact of honesty that came through him when he told this story. But he said that when he died, he went up about 4 feet out of his body and spirit and watched the doctors performing on him. He could even verbatim tell the doctors what they were saying back and forth. He was listening to the conversation. And then he started going higher and higher and higher. And the higher he got, he started to receive this feeling. He started to see a light above him that he was heading to. But he started to receive this feeling that everything that he was leaving behind was insignificant. It was all insignificant, even his children. As hard as that is to imagine, as he was leaving this realm, this dimension, he received an overwhelming knowing that it was all insignificant. What he was about to experience was of significance. He went to heaven, and he was given an understanding of the importance of Jesus Christ. And that nobody will ever sit at the feet of the Father but through Christ. You are not getting through that door. And so what I'm telling you is that these truths are separating us. They are dividing. There is a division happening here right now in this world as we speak. And the truth is very clear that it's God's will being done here on earth as it is in heaven. There are no sinners. There are no deceivers. There are no liars. There are no cheaters. There are no God haters in heaven. I can assure you. And there will not be. There's no pride in heaven. I can assure you of that. And so what we're seeing in this world is very easily described as what we will witness in heaven. The goats and the sheep are being divided here. There is a division taking place. And you may lose your brother. You may lose your sister. You may lose your daughters, your sons. But everything in this world is insignificant when measured up against your eternity with God. The only thing that's going to matter is your relationship with Jesus Christ, not a religion. Religion has Satan's signature written all over it, from the Catholic Church to Islam to Buddhism. I mean, you know, you get atheism is religion. Science is now religion. Satan's fingerprints are over almost every single thing in this world. The one thing he could not touch is Jesus Christ. He tried. He desperately tried. Our Savior is strong. Jesus Christ had a very strong will to live out God's purpose for him in this life. What a testament to living out the will of God. Jesus Christ did exactly that. He lived out his purpose on that cross, and he did everything to ensure that he would do that. If it's God's will that you should lose people in your life, if it's God's will that you should see truths that hurt you or that break your heart. You know, Jesus saves the brokenhearted. That's who he saves. He saves the brokenhearted. These truths are going to break your heart. They're going to change your worldview. They're going to change everything that you thought was true. But if you trust God, and if you trust his will, and you trust his mercy, and you trust his love, you're not only going to be open to the truths, you're going to be open to the pain that comes with it, and you're going to be open to trusting God that he is going to walk you gently through those gates of heaven. You're going to be okay. I promise you, you're going to be okay. You're going to lose people. There's a separation happening. I've got eyes to see and ears to hear. I am listening to the emotion of this world. I am watching through spiritual discernment God's will being done here on earth as it is in heaven. We are witnessing the preparation of judgment. There's a separation. You separate and divide in order to accurately judge. And that's exactly what God is doing. There is a major separation happening in this world. And it's all God's doing. It's his will. And it's okay if you go to the right and somebody you love goes to the left. You can preach them, you can talk to them, you can try to plant seeds, you can hope they have a change of mind. But at the end of the day, you got to be okay with God's will. You got to be okay with the understanding that you are not in control of this. You see, the great falling away, people think that they're in control of the falling away, and I'm telling you, we're not. John 15 says that Jesus is the vine, we are the branches, and any branch that does not bear good fruit, the vine dresser, God the Father, cuts from the tree. God is in control of the falling away. We are not. By our free will, we may be in control of becoming more in the world than we are in Christ, or that we would become the prodigal son, that we would have a walking away, but not a falling. A walking away and a falling away are two different things. Being a prodigal son is one thing. Being cut from the branch, as Jesus Christ says in John 15, the Father is the vine dresser. And any branch that does not bear good fruit, he cuts from the tree, and it gets dragged to the fire. You got to be okay with these times that we're in. You've got to really, really trust God. You got to open your eyes and see the world as it unveils all of these truths, as it exposes all of these deceptions, clear and precise, that eyes could see and ears could hear. Look, if you guys get edified by these videos, if they're worth sharing, share them. If the channel is worth subbing, hit the sub button. If the video is worth liking, by all means take a second to hit that like button. Hit the bell for updates. You'll get updates on my next video. Look in the description for ways to help others. Become a Patreon of this channel. You can also join Flat Out Elected 2, our backup channel. And as well, if it's in your heart, join Flat Out Elected. If it's in your heart, join Flat Out Elected in Google Community. You can share videos, hang out with people, chat, boom, 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 boom. There's lots you can do. I love you guys. I ask that God bless you guys abundantly in this truth, and that you guys receive the peace to accept what's happening in this world today. Because like I said, we're all going to lose people. It's okay though. I'll lose everybody in this world and be okay with it. But I will not be okay with losing my relationship with Jesus Christ and going back to my oblivious state of being a slave to this very deceived world. I ask that God bless you guys. You guys take care of yourselves.
Is when you talking to the principalities and reminding the powers and telling them who you are and what's going to happen. That's when you get an attitude. We have access to God with boldness and confidence. We can go boldly to the throne of God. We can go confidently to him. But what does the devil do? He keeps bringing up your past. He keeps bringing up your failures. He keeps bringing up your shortcomings. I'm not going to God on the basis of my righteousness, not my righteousness. I'm going on the basis of his righteousness and who he